Last time on Backtalk with Cripple3030.
What would be your worst experience that you've seen while you was down
Fighting
there?
officers. Like, I didn't have a problem with other inmates on Rikers Island. Like, I really didn't. Like, I think I had like 2 altercations on Rikers with another inmate.
Right.
For me, it was the officers. It was the way they talked to you. They was calling us animal lessons. And I was like, animal lessons? I'm not an animal. Like,
Right.
I hate to say it, but some of them, it seemed like these are the same officers I hung out with in the club. Now you trying to tell me what to do.
Right.
Or I know you from the neighborhood, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to respect you as Officer so-and-so.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
On this episode of Backtalk,
See how he act now. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that was hope, because I'm used to getting hit for 2 years, so that was a little hope. And at the end of the day, I don't really believe in the system. My thing is, I just want to get out. So I just was like I still continue to do what I had to do to get out. And being that I got hit with 18, I might have had a shot for that 4.
Welcome back to Backtalk with Cripple3030. I'm here with my guest, S Barksdale, better known as Big S.
Hey.
So what's up, Steven?
It's good, man.
Or actually Big S, right? More affectionately known, right?
Okay.
First of all, I want to lay down a plan for the viewers, right? I wanted to give them a vision, right? You was incarcerated before, right?
Right.
How many years?
Well, I did 28 years. Actually, I did 3 bids. But
Okay.
the last bid I did was 28 years straight.
Like, give a few examples of what facilities you was in.
Well, I was in Auburn, Elmira, Coxsackie, Elmira, practically all of them except Attica.
So you was all over the place.
Right.
Now, the reason that I'm asking you is because I want to give the viewers a picture that you didn't just end up in one spot and
Right.
then, you was there for like 6 months and then that's it. I want them to be able to live your life. That's the process of the interview we're taking right now.
Okay.
We're going to give them that vision.
Okay.
So now, while you was incarcerated, when did you actually tell yourself, you know what, I'm really locked up. Like, I'm not going home right now?
Well, basically, I was in there for a murder, so I knew I wasn't going nowhere. And I had to basically put in my mind that, listen, I got to be here for a while, so, I just got to put my mind to doing this bid. And, whatever I got to do, that's what I'm going to do to survive.
So now you say you did 3 bids.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you remember right now, but if you do, what did it feel like in that first bid when you first got locked up?
Well, I was nervous because you away from your family, you away from society, and I just realized that I had to do time. I'm around all type of people that's not my people. So, I just had to try to settle down and try to figure this thing out.
So now, when you first got locked up, you went through Rikers Island, right?
Right.
So when you went through Rikers Island, there is at some point when you tell yourself, you know what? Yeah, I'm here right now, today, but tomorrow I'm going home with my mom. Like, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to be out, be back in the street.
Right.
At what point did it hit home? Like, okay, well, this is it. I'm here.
Okay, well, this last bit I just did, like I said, I was in there for something serious, so I knew I was going to do time. So I already geared myself to that. But when I first went to jail, like I said, I was nervous, and, I just felt that I'm going to survive. I ain't no punk, and I'm going to do what I got to do to survive, period. And I'm just going to do what I got to do. you know, so.
So you just had to shut it out of your mind, the
I had to.
possibility of, all right, you know what? This is here and now.
Right.
This is what I got to deal with.
Right.
So whatever come my way, I'm going to deal with it. If I go home, I go home. But right now, I just got to deal with it right now.
Yeah, like I said, in my mind, I thought I had to stay there anyway. So, you know, I wasn't really trying to fight to get out. I was basically trying to fight to survive. That's what I was doing. That's where my mindset was at.
So how did that feel inside? Like,
I mean, it felt like I was a troubled teenager. So it felt, how could I explain it? It felt like I had no hope. Like I just had to survive. Like I ain't really have no real support system. So I just felt I have to survive in here under these conditions. So that's what I'm gonna do.
now, I'm pretty sure you came across a lot of things happening in there. I mean, throughout your 3 bids.
Mm-hmm.
What was describe the most violent issues you've seen?
I seen, well, like I said, I basically seen a little bit of everything. I seen stabbings, I've seen murders, I seen everything. Now, the most drastic thing that I've been through was when I was in a hostage situation, and I wound up doing 5 years in a box. And that was the worst situation dealing with me because I had so much flack from the officers, and you know, they was trying to like torture us and put us through mad, you know, trauma. So I would say that would be the worst. But in terms of stabbings and stuff like that, that was like regular stuff to me.
So that was just like the norm.
The norm, exactly.
So now, how was your relationship with the guards in general?
Well, I ain't really like cops because I seen, especially like the redneck cops, because they didn't like us. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're from New York, you're from the urban communities, they didn't like us. You know, they already had us stereotyped. You know what I'm saying? They used to like disrespect us, and you know, if you was the type of dude who's going for it, you know, you're just gonna, you know, suffer. But if you ain't going for it, you're gonna still suffer, but you're gonna at least make them respect you, or you know what I'm saying? It's gonna always be drama every day. That's how we used to think.
Now, just to clarify, you're talking about when you hit upstate, when you hit to the facilities, because Rikers Island is a little different.
Oh yeah, Rikers Island, you're dealing with, you know, urban people too, you know, different CEOs, black, Spanish, you know, it's a little different, but sometimes their minds change a little bit because of that badge. But then you have some that's like kind of like, they from the neighborhood, so as long as you easygoing, they try to be easygoing with you.
Right.
You know.
So now, how was your relationship with like the other prisoners?
Oh well, like I said, you know, if we could relate to each other, then we good. But like I said, sometimes a lot of, you know, when you're around like males, men, you know, sometimes the egos kick in. You know, sometimes, you know, it's always people competing instead of being together because we in a situation. You know, sometimes a lot of competition, a lot of little struggles, and you know, you got to find like who you can deal with a little bit more, you know, better than the next. But it's always going to be a struggle when you're dealing with men in one big, you know, surrounding.
You got a lot of characters
dealing
with the same thing.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that in them type of situations, you have your alpha males, right? You got the people who say, you know what, that they just give off that aura that I'm the boss. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And pretty much what they say pretty much goes.
Right.
You know, then of course, you know, you got two conflicting.
Right.
Then, you know, that's where you get the drama out.
Clash.
Right. So now, have you ever been involved in anything violent in there? Like, you don't got to go through the details, but...
I mean, listen, I done stabbed people, I done beat people up, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, also, one thing about me, I'm one of those dudes, even when I was in the street, I like to win. Any situation I win, I like to come out on top. And that's how I used to think even when I was in the penitentiary. So I also know that, also, like I said, I did 3 bids, so I already know how jail was. Right. So this bid being my 3rd bid, I already know what I had to do to basically stay on top within the penitentiary. So that's what I did. I also knew, like, if I have a situation with a dude, I move on him quick. I don't play no games with him. Once you show that you don't play no games, then the respect kind of like circulates around you. But at the same time, I'm not really a troublemaker. Right. If you start with me, I'm gonna go. If we easy, then I'm easy. And that's how I was. I wasn't really a troublemaker.
And it's so ironic how that plays out, right?
Right.
Because, like what they say, people know who they deal with, right?
Right.
So if you react the way you just said,
right,
like if you jump right to it,
right,
then it prevents stuff in the future.
Right.
Because other people see that.
That's a fact.
and then they say, yo, I'm not gonna mess with Big Ass.
That's a
You know
fact.
what I'm saying? You know
That's a
what?
fact.
I'm gonna stay away from him.
Right.
You know, he's a pretty humble, cool dude anyway. So all I gotta do is just stay clear, and then I'm
Exactly.
good.
Exactly.
But now, if you had wanted to resolve the problem without actually responding, then it would just cause more problems because them same people that's watching would say, yo, Big Ass is weak.
Right.
So I'm gonna try him.
Right.
Right? It's just so ironic. Like, you know, normally you would think that the person that tries to stay away from the problem would avoid all the problems, but it would actually cause more down the line.
Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, people are psychotic, especially like, you know, you got people that just look for trouble. They bored, they ain't got nothing else to do, and then, you know, they just want to see always conflict. You know, like I said, people going through their own issues. Everybody got things going on within their mind. You don't know what's in the next person's mind. So, you know, like I said, you're in an environment, you're already stressed out, you're away from your family. You know what I'm saying? You're going through what you're going through. So now you take your personal problems and feelings and put it on somebody else. And that's when it's always a problem, you know?
So now, considering your environment around you, right, and the fact that you're surrounded by people, you have some people, you know, who, like I said, are alpha males. You got some people that just follow,
Right.
and then you have those people that just stay away from everything and just do what they do.
Right.
So now, considering your experience with the 3 bids, and you know your 28 years on your last bid, what is your mindset when things occur? For example, like we was talking about, you said that you just go with anything.
Right.
Right? Did you ever think, you know what, I don't want to move because I may mess up, you know, and not go home.
Oh.
I may not hit the parole board.
Gotcha.
Like, did all this come
I
out in your
understand.
head?
Of course. Especially, you gotta remember, look, and when we talking, I'm talking about in the beginning of my bid, my mindset was totally different. Now, as it's time for me to go home, my mindset is different again. I want to go home. I already been through all the major drama in the beginning of my bid, so now it's time for me to you know, return to society. So now I'm in different programs, you know, for reentry. So, you know, I'm chilling. I'm not associating with idiots. I'm not being around, you know, the drama. You know what I'm saying? I'm avoiding that. I'm doing things to get me ready for the streets. So that's where my mindset was at. Going home, staying away from problems, doing what I got to do to get out.
So now you're speaking about the programs to get you ready for the streets, like the reentry programs.
Right.
What kind of programs were available to you then?
Okay, all right. Well, at first I was at Comstock for so long. So what we did, my family and myself, we had wrote, you know, different people, wrote Albany to say, listen, you got me in Comstock. They don't have no type of programs for us, you know, especially for a lot of guys that did a lot of time, you know, for reentry. So what they did is they moved me to Shawanga. Shawanga had a few programs down there. Like, for instance, they had Osborne down there. That's one of the programs that, whereas, you know, your girl could come up, you know what I'm saying, and then y'all all do a program together, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of helped me, you know what I'm saying, to regain, you know, reentry. And, you know, to whereas, you know, you get ready to go home, so they teach you different techniques on, you know, people skills and dealing with people in society, and, you know, that kind of helped me.
So you talking about like the program is it like teaches you how to reintegrate back into the family experience?
That, like parenthood, they had
Right.
parenthood, dealing with your kids, you know what I'm saying, you know, and it kind of helped, but that's what I needed, because I've been in jail basically since I was a little kid, so,
Right.
you know, I needed that, and it kind of helped.
So now you mentioned Comstock. Comstock is you know, just to highlight it for the viewers, it's a facility full of prisoners that doing a lot of time, right?
That's a fact.
And it's a real violent facility.
That's a fact. They don't have nothing to help you, like basically no type of real program to help you for when you're going home. They don't have none of that.
Now, what's so ironic about that is that if you see the government, right, and you see how they post up about what happens behind the walls,
Right.
what they like to highlight is the violent experiences, right? They like to say prisoners are violent. Prisoners they don't better themselves so that
Right.
they can reach society,
Right.
right? But then you have these prisons that they don't even have these programs to help you.
Right.
Right?
I agree.
So, now, Comstock, since it's full of lifers, it's full of people that committed murders, people that are kidnappers, robbers, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. It's a hodgepodge of different criminal activities.
Right.
and it's people that have a lot of jail time.
Right.
Most of the people in there are doing like big numbers.
Fact.
So now, you would think that that would be a facility that would have these type of programs so they could calm down the violence that would occur in population.
Be honest with you, a lot of from what I noticed from the administration and all that, they don't want to calm down no violence. They just want to make sure nothing don't happen to them. They like to see destruction. They like to see us going at each other. You know what I'm saying? They don't really offer nothing for us in there. I'm talking about to whereas things is calm. I think they like to see drama all the time. They thrive on that.
And that's the thing. Now you had to actually request a transfer to a whole separate facility.
I had to make a big deal to get out of there.
Yeah, just to get them programs.
Exactly.
Because the programs is actually was created allegedly to prepare you for your release.
Right.
So then when you get home, you know what I'm saying, you could actually have some type of experience with reintegrating back into society.
Right.
We'll be back with more from our guests when we return. Don't go anywhere.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
I love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Prepare you for your release.
Right.
So then when you get home, you know what I'm saying, you could actually have some type of experience with reintegrating back into society.
Right.
So now, once you got involved with these programs, how much did these programs actually help you?
Well, they did. I ain't gonna front, because I needed that. Because even when I came home, what I did, I got involved with the Osborne, and, you know, I was there, you know, we got our little certificates at the end and all that. But, you know, like I said, it helps you, like, say if you need car fare and this and that, you know. And we basically was doing the same thing that we was doing in prison, but just that we out here now. So, you know, they was trying to help you, trying to keep your people skills intact, you know what I'm saying, dealing with people. And, you know, even just riding the train was a major thing for me because, you know, you in crowds. I don't really like crowds. And you're in crowds now and people are infringing on your space. So that was a big thing for me, you know what I'm saying, to adjust to that.
So now in prison, the space, explain that so everybody can understand.
Okay.
Like the space thing in prison compared to what happens out here in society. Because out here in society, you could bump into a person like on a normal basis. You go into the train, you see it's a packed train. And everybody's just there like elbow to elbow. And that's a norm out here.
Right.
Now, how is it in prisons?
Well, you gotta have respect. First of all, people gotta give you your space. That's number one. Not only that, you don't want people too close to you because then you can get cut, and people do sneaky stuff and all that. So, you know, you have your space. And then if me and you was talking, you know what I'm saying, I'm watching your back, you watching my back. You don't want people like easing up on you. Out here, people do stuff real unconscious. Like they'll bump you and then they'll smile at you, then they look at you like you did something to them. But they don't realize, you know, they put themselves in a situation.
Right.
But, you know, they don't look at it like how you look at it from being behind a wall.
Right.
So, you know, you have to remember that you're not in prison no more. You're out here. So you can't handle things the same way. And basically, that's the whole thing. You have to know the difference. You out here in society, you gotta live different. People do different things. So you have to be mindful of that.
Now, these programs that you took before you were released, did they help prepare you for that mindset, that change in the mindset?
Well, okay, like I said, when I left upstate, they brought me closer to the city. There, like Shawanga, they had a few programs like that, like Thinking for Change. They had a few programs that help you, like I said, adjust the mindset
Right.
to prepare you for when you go home. So, yeah, that did help me. I needed that,
Because they have had incidents where prisoners came home,
Right.
and because they can't deal with the different minds, the culture shock out here,
Right.
they've actually committed crimes, sometimes intentionally,
Just to
go
go
back
So
in
that's
jail.
a fact.
Because they're so used to it in there
Right.
that that's what they're thirsty for. They want that back
Right.
because they're comfortable in it.
Right.
But programs can help with that.
Right.
Now what you said was like some of the jails don't have programs like that. They
Right.
don't prepare you for that.
Right.
So like for example, let's say if you didn't make a big deal out of leaving Comstock.
Right.
Let's say if you was just a prisoner that said, you know what, I'm just gonna go with the flow. Whatever they give me, I'm gonna take.
Right.
And now you're stuck in Comstock and you're trying to get home.
Right.
They didn't prepare your mindset. So now,
No, they did.
when you get home, now you're dealing with a culture shock. It's like you ain't even, your whole mind state was all totally different.
That's true.
So now, what? First of all, how did you get released? You went to parole. Sorry, you went through parole.
I did. I went to 4 parole boards, and the 4th one they let me go. The 3rd one they hit me with 18 months, and I was in position to hire me a lawyer for the third board. That got me 18 months, and the 4th board they let me go. But also you got to remember too, I had to really buckle down. One thing the board do, they look at you, and they see if you change. If you still, they go by the fact that okay, this man did all this, wild stuff, in his bid, but the last few years, he's been being easy, going to programs, doing good. So they have to evaluate the fact that you did change. And once they do that, then sooner or later they give you a shot. They hit you with the board. It stresses you out when you get hit. You're trying to go home.
Right.
Second board, I was tight, but I also realized, well, I'm seeing the board now, so sooner or later I'm going home, as long as I stay out of trouble. So that's what I did. I decided to calm down, do what I got to do everything possible to get me home quicker. And fortunately, I made it home in 4 boards.
Now you said that somebody hired a lawyer for you for the 3rd board. Who hired
I
the
did.
lawyer?
Like my family, my family was with me.
So you had to take it upon yourself to do that.
Oh, that's a fact.
So now nothing came from as far as the Department of Corrections at all to help you.
Not at all.
Now, had you completed all your programs already and stuff?
Oh yeah.
And yet they still kept hitting you at the board?
Well, see, this was they was going by with me personally. Like I said, they go by the fact that we can't let this guy go home this quick. All right, he went to the 1st board and this and that. No, we're going to see how he is. So, like I said, they hit you to see how you react, to see if you really calm down, to see if you really, how do you deal with stress? How do you deal with frustration? So, that's frustrating, like I said earlier. That's frustrating. So, like I said, sooner or later I'm out of here. So I'm just going to do what I got to do to get out. And that's what I did.
Now, well, I'm assuming that it gets real frustrating because the law and the policies are that you finish their programs, that you're almost like 1 foot out the door.
Right.
Because all you basically have to do is all their requirements, which they actually explain.
Right.
And then you're pretty much out the door. All you got to do is stay out of tickets, stay out of trouble, and then you should be released.
Right.
So now, if they keep basing it on the nature of your crime, which is what they normally do, right, then that's a factor that never changes.
Right.
Right. There's no way for you to change the nature of your crime now. It's 28 years later, right?
Right.
So how can I change the nature of my crime? So why would they continue to hit me for this? This is what a person would normally think.
Right. See, what the board tried to do now is, okay, you already in jail for the nature of your crime. That's what you're in prison for.
Right.
Okay, so now, what are you doing while you're in prison? That's basically how they started now judging you. So that's just like, you got to remember also, you in there with the officers, you in there with, you know, certain convicts, inmates, whatever you want to call them, and you got them that's hating. You know, they know you short. You know what I'm saying? Yo, let me get this guy. I never liked this guy anyway. Let me give him a ticket. Or you got a prisoner be like, man, I ain't never going home. Why he going home? You know, so it's various things you got to watch for. You know what I'm saying, to make it home. So normally, what I used to do, I used to stay mostly to myself and in my own little small circle. You know what I'm saying, and go everywhere I'm supposed to go to get me out of prison quicker, and that's what I did.
Now, that argument has actually been brought up before. The fact that you was convicted for a crime,
right?
And that's the punishment as a result of the nature of your crime, right? But then here you come in front of the parole board, and you've done everything you need to do, which is get all your programs in. You've shown remorse. You did whatever you can just to make that board,
right?
And then here you come again, and they hit you with the nature of your crime. So it's like a double jeopardy.
Right.
Is that the way that you felt the process was?
Well, that's a fact. That's a fact. But like I said, you know, the system, like I said, you know, the system got a way of working. I mean, I don't know who it's working for, but it's a system. So, like I said, all you could do is just do the best you can. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact that being that I did reach the point to where I'm making a parole board, sooner or later, they got to let me go.
Right. Was there ever a point where you thought to yourself, you know what, they're not never gonna. I'm just here. Like, they're not gonna let me out.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said, my mindset was so on destruction and just doing what I got to do, to whereas I had gave a few years back. You know what I'm saying, dealing with the law, dealing with my case. So that's what really said I got a chance to go home. Because at first, I didn't know I was gonna make it home. But once I gave some time back, and then I started going to my first parole board, I said, man, I'm out of here. Sooner or later, I'm out of here. So I buckled down and I put in my mind that I'm going home.
All right.
That's my priority.
So now, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to expound more on that, because I got a few more questions.
I got you. I'm with you.
All right. We'll be back with more from our guests when we return. Don't go anywhere.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Nice.
And now for a highlight on a local Bronx business.
This is Cripple3030. I'm about to go in here to 604 East 141st Street and speak to the director of Graffiti 2 Ministries. Talk about all the programs that they service the community with. All right. So I noticed that you've been in the neighborhood, in the community for at least 14 years, servicing them. What other programs do you have?
We have programs that serve all age levels within any family. G2 Kids is a program for elementary age kids that works both school year and summer, hopefully building students physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. A similar program for youth, middle school teenagers, is GSALT, stands for Graffiti Serving and Leading Teenagers. And then GSALT students can progress to become interns, where they actually intern with us, tutoring younger kids, other students. And then we engage parents through our Parents Rock program, where they're actually involved in tutoring and helping out around our building facility here. And then we also have a workforce development program called Graffiti 2 Works. And it's a unique program where we have a learning center where adults can come and learn. They can work on their high school equivalency preparation. They can have other things to enrich their own education. And we actually have a business, a small business, where people can actually shop and support Graffiti 2 Works, buying some goods that are made right here in the South Bronx. For any information about any of those programs, the best way to find out is go to our website, graffiti2ministries.org. That's graffiti like the writing on the wall, and the number 2, graffiti2ministries.org. You can find out about all those programs, even shop our site and support a small business right here in the South Bronx.
Okay. Now, you mentioned a whole lot of stuff that's actually good for the kids. A lot of after-school programs that I've come across, they don't offer a lot of that, because y'all actually go a little bit broader than just taking care of kids from 3 to 6. Now, all of that is done based on volunteer.
Well, we have a team of people that are on staff that are very committed. They live here in the neighborhood and they serve here in the community with Graffiti 2. We're really blessed to have a great staff that's serving the community so well. But we also do a lot to mobilize volunteers. These are volunteers that may come from our church, Graffiti 2 Baptist Church. It may be parents, it may be other young people around the community, trying to both mobilize them and equip them to be able to serve the students that are in our programs as well.
So that means that parents or adults that have their kids here, they can help out also. But even if they don't have children, but they just want to help out in some way, they can actually come and speak to y'all and actually volunteer their services in some way, right?
Definitely. We love to have volunteers. We have a normal screening process for any volunteer. We want to make sure this is a safe environment and a safe place for kids. But yeah, you can contact us again through our website, and we'll make those arrangements to see what the next steps are.
For more on this Bronx-based organization and its programs, go to graffiti2ministries.org. Welcome back to Backtalk Cripple3030. In case you missed it, I was actually in the middle of an interview with S Barksdale, also known as Big S. We was right before the break. We started talking about the parole board, right? And we was actually talking about how the process was dragged along to the point where they actually made you go to 4 parole boards before they released you.
Right.
And you mentioned that at the 3rd parole board, you hired a lawyer.
Right.
Now, my question, what I wanted to ask was, do you believe that if you didn't hire a lawyer to help you with the parole board process, do you think that it would have took you longer?
Let me say this. Okay. I didn't really know no better. Like, when we hired a lawyer for the, my 3rd board, right? My mother, myself, my girl, and you know, I thought it'd be easy because she gave a format of my parole packet.
Right.
So basically, that's all she did. Just a format of my parole packet. But if I was thinking, I could have did that myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what it was, just a format. You know what I'm saying? But I already showed that I was in my programs and all that, but basically the lawyer was just for the format of my parole packet.
So the lawyer helped you out with the 3rd and the 4th, or
No,
just the 3rd?
just the 3rd. I ain't needed my 4th. I did that on my own.
And if you don't mind me asking, why did they hit you, why did they deny you parole on the 3rd?
Well, basically they said the nature of my crime, of course, what they always talk about, right. And my disciplinary. They talking about the past disciplinary though. You know,
before, like, because just to clarify so the viewers can understand also, because I have experience with it, but also I want the viewers to understand.
Got you.
Is that between your 1st and your 2nd parole board, they're supposed to review your disciplinary record between that period. Right. So if they denied you on the 1st board, right, and then now you're up in your 2nd board, they shouldn't keep looking at your disciplinary record before the 1st board because they already reviewed you for that, right?
Right.
So now on the 2nd parole board hearing, they're supposed to review your disciplinary record between your 1st and your 2nd parole board, right? So now if you're at your 3rd should be reviewed from your 2nd parole board hearing to your 3rd.
Right.
Because they already had a chance to review your disciplinary record before your previous 2 boards.
Right.
So now, On the 3rd, you said that they still highlighted your disciplinary record?
Yeah, but what they did is they hit me with 18 instead of 2 years. You know, the max is like 2 years to hit you at the board. So they hit me with 18. So basically they said, okay, this is how I look at it. Basically they said, okay, we're gonna hit him with 18 and see how he is. You know what I'm saying? See how he acts now. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that was hope, because I'm used to getting hit with 2 years. So that was a little hope. And at the end of the day, I don't really believe in the system. My thing is I just want to get out. So I just was like I still continue to do what I had to do to get out. And being that I got hit with 18, I might have had a shot for that 4th board.
Now, that's also like another policy, right? If they give you, let's say, 18 months, your next board shouldn't be 24 months, correct?
Yeah, it shouldn't be, yeah.
Right, it should be 18 months or less.
It should be less, right.
Right. Now, the idea though, like the reason I'm gonna repeat this again, because I want it to be highlighted, is the fact that you went to the 4th parole board before you were released, right? You were released by parole, right?
Right, by parole.
Okay, so now 3 different parole boards, they denied you based on the reasons of nature of your crime, and you said that they also mentioned past criminal history, right? And also past disciplinary history.
Right.
So now, what's ironic is, and this is why I want to highlight it,
and the seriousness
and the seriousness of your crime,
of my disciplinary as well.
Now, every factor that they based it on, is things that you can never change.
Oh, exactly.
Because everything is in your past.
Right.
Right. Now on the first parole board, I can understand them denying you for those reasons.
Right.
Except for the nature of your crime.
Right.
Right. But everything else, like your disciplinary record, is things that you could have done in prison.
Right.
So that first parole board is the time frame when they actually have a shot to say this is your penalty for getting into these disciplinary infractions.
Right.
So now everything after that though is sort of like a double jeopardy.
Right.
Because it's things that it's no fault of your own, you cannot change anymore.
Right.
Right? You've already, me being you, I would be thinking, you've already denied me parole on my first parole board hearing, and you penalized me for my disciplinary record. You hit me for the nature of my crime, which I can't change either. And then now I go into my second and my third parole board hearing, and yet you're saying that I'm still not eligible to be released because of the nature of my crime, the seriousness of my disciplinary record, and my past criminal history.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's like, what else can I do for you?
And don't forget, politics play a major role in all this stuff too. It ain't just about whether they want us out there or whatever. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. Keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? So we just caught up in a little system of business. So they're going to capitalize off of that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that.
Right.
When you was incarcerated, what was your program? What was your job?
Oh, well, I was I worked in the kitchen before. I was a porter. I even worked in a tailor shop at one time. I did various different jobs.
Now, just highlighting the tailor shop. In the tailor shop, what did you used to do there?
We used to sew clothes and make clothes.
You used to create clothes.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And what was done with these clothes?
Well, technically they're supposed to be for other prisoners, and I'm sure they did their little things on the side, making money, and like I said, it's a business, then again.
So now, but your paycheck there was about how much?
Oh, let's see, we was making maybe 24 cents, something like that, a day or something like that. As I remember, it's been so long ago.
24 cents a day?
Yeah, something like that, I don't even remember.
For more than 8 hours in a day?
Yeah.
You know that in society,
right,
if we made somebody make clothes for 8 hours a day and paid them 24 cents, we would have an uproar.
That's a fact.
They would boycott the business. They would throw them all over the news, and they would send the cops in to arrest the company owners.
Right.
But yet in prison, you actually sat in prison and you made clothes from scratch, right? Mm-hmm. And then they took these clothes and either clothed other prisoners, or they sent them out to a company, I believe it's called Corecraft.
Corecraft, that's a fact.
Right, to the Corecraft company, and actually sold the clothes to other people.
To make money.
right, to make money basically off of your back.
That's a fact.
And they only paid you 24 cents a day.
Right. Now, I mean, I think the starting pay was like 16 cents.
Even
As
worse.
I remember, yeah.
Right, even worse, 16 cents. That's better math for me. So that's like 2 cents an hour.
Right.
So now out here, we scream, society screams, and they boycott and they protest so that they can have $15 an hour minimum wage.
Right.
That is $14.98 below minimum wage.
Right.
That they were paying you.
Because you got to remember, too, they look at it like we shouldn't get nothing. So, you know, like, just to get a little bit should be a blessing for us. That's how they think. You know what I'm saying? It's like, remember, those are warehouses, man, so they're going to use us however they can to do what they got to do, to get what they can get.
Now, in order for you to work in tailor shop, what hurdles did you have to go through to be able to get that job?
Well, I mean, it wasn't really hard for me. I mean, but, you know, it was just a job. I said, well, maybe I can make a couple of dollars doing this, so that's all I was going to do. You got to remember, a lot of people don't have nothing. So if they can get the opportunity to make a little bit, you know, so they can survive and go to commissary every 2 weeks and all that, they're going to do it.
So now, but if you was a troublemaker, right, or if you got into trouble a lot, you wouldn't be able to work in the tailor shop,
that's
right?
a fact. That's a fact.
So you actually had to keep a clean disciplinary record.
Yeah, well, I wound up leaving there soon. I wound up leaving there too, but, you know, at the time, you know, I was there for a couple of months, but, you know, like I said, I just wanted to make money, you know, a little bit of money.
So now, the reason that I'm asking is because on top of them, you know, this is what I'm thinking when I'm asking, while you're speaking, is that on top of the fact that they only pay you 2 cents an hour, right? Maybe went up to like 4 cents an hour, a little less actually, about 2 cents and a half an hour, right? They also made you go through so many hurdles just to obtain that employment, because then you had to stay free of disciplinary infractions, right? You also had to be housed in certain locations, right?
Yeah.
They had like set
they had like
blocks for
well,
that.
I remember in Clinton they had like one, I think upper H and maybe upper F, I believe, where they had the tailor shop. You know, but it's just like with any program. I don't care. Any program you get involved with, you got to stay out of trouble.
Right.
If not, you're getting locked up. Period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you got most dudes in the tailor shop. They was more focused on that because they know they can make a little bit of money. So they took more initiative to be easy and do what they got to do.
Now,
you know
how was the guards' mindset in these blocks?
They don't like
Were
us.
they different than
No, they all
regular
the same.
population?
No, they all the same. They all the same. I mean, they don't care about us. Like I said, especially they didn't like New York. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you was a little cocky, they don't like that. They want you to just obey orders and do whatever they tell you to do and abuse you if they can, you know. But no, they didn't like us.
What was your
Coming up
plan
next
before
on
you walked
Backtalk.
out the gates?
Before what? Well, family. I ain't gonna front. Like, I've been away from my family so long. I'm around family. Number one. You know.
Different words describe different people. But in the eyes of the law, there's one that fits us all. Human right number 7. We're all equal before the law. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
So now, okay, so now after you was released, right? Because you got released on parole.
Right.
What was your plan before you walked out the gates?
Before what? Well, family. I ain't gonna front. Like, I've been away from my family so long. I'm around family. Number one. So.
What was your plan to how you was gonna survive?
Oh well, I did Ready, Willing, and Able. I did construction. I worked in the club. I had a few jobs. I worked in the warehouse. Like I said, job. I mean, I ain't gonna front. There's a few jobs out here, but you just got. It depends on what you want to do with your life. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to find a job, it might be a little harder because we got records, but it's always gonna be something out here that you could do.
But now, when you was inside, right? Let's say they told you, yo, well, you're gonna be released. They let you know in advance you're gonna be released on such and such date.
Right.
During that time period, did you set out plans in your mind of what you was gonna do?
In my mind, yeah. Of course, in my mind, like I said, plus, I was lucky enough to have a support system. So, yeah, I was good. But like I said, when you actually get out here to put everything in order and activate your plans, it's harder. So you got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, I look at it like this. Just like when you use the penitentiary, you got to figure it out.
Right.
When you out here, you got to figure it out. Whatever works best for you, you got to make it happen.
So now you said that you worked Ready, Willing, and Able.
Right.
You did some construction. You worked in as a bouncer.
I was in the bouncer. I was a bouncer. Security. I used to oversee security at 718 Live, and what else I said I did? I worked in the warehouse, which was ridiculous.
So now, was any of those jobs in your plans before you were released?
No, not really. What I really wanted to do, I really wanted to get involved with pest control. Because my father had a business doing pest control. I really wanted to get involved with that, but they was telling me my felonies that I got would make it kind of hard for me because I'm dealing with different chemicals and stuff like that. So it would be hard for me to get the chemicals because of my felonies.
So now, is it safe to say that because you were still incarcerated and you haven't experienced being released yet at that from that bit, that you didn't have the total information of what it would have took to hash out your plans?
Yeah, you could say that.
Because obviously speaking, if you was incarcerated, somebody would know to tell you, listen, you have a criminal record. You're dealing with certain chemicals. They're not going to let you do pest control like that. Right, that's something that somebody can actually find out in there.
Yeah, that's true too.
Especially if they're in re-entry programs.
That's true.
Let's say if a person that's actually doing it.
Right. I think too, like different jails offered different things. Like, 'cause like one guy told me that, like a guy that just came home, he told me that they prepared all that, before he came home. Like in terms of him getting his ID, in terms of him getting birth certificate, they help him with that. The jail I came from, they ain't do nothing, none of that for us. So it was kind of hard. I had to do all that on my own. So
and you had to figure out the way to do it.
Had to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But they had a few spots that you can go to, like Access and Osborne. They'll direct. Like I tell you, I was a part of Osborne when I came out. So they directed me to the steps to get that type of stuff. So that helped.
Okay. So now, after you're home, how long you been home already?
I've been home 2 years and maybe 4 months.
Since you've been released, what was your biggest culture shock?
I ain't gonna front. The change in the neighborhood. Especially me being from Brooklyn and me knowing the neighborhood, coming out here, I ain't recognize nothing. That was a culture shock for me.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of the people you knew wasn't around anymore.
Oh, no. I don't even be seeing a lot of people. Most people I see now that I know from, for years is people that have been in prison with me.
Right. So, and then now they got new constructions going on.
Yeah,
new
all
buildings,
over.
Everything.
Everything is new, different,
Now, when just something real small that some of us don't even think about.
Right.
When you first got incarcerated, you said you did 28 years. So you wasn't using Metro cards in the train station. Right?
Before I left.
Right, before you got locked up, you wasn't using that.
Exactly.
So now, when you came home, how did it feel to have to get a Metro card?
That was listen. Even that machine, get on the machine and all that. It took me a while to figure that out.
Well, I mentioned that because funny stories that when I came home,
I
actually had a big culture shock with that.
Right, me too.
Is that I got so frustrated that I even cursed out my PO. I called him on the phone, and I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna hop the train."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And of course, he told me, "Yo, don't do that, because then I gotta come lock you up."
Right.
But it was so frustrating to me because I was like, why didn't nobody prepare me for this?
Right.
Why didn't nobody, that's something so small of a detail that, you could just tell somebody that and verbally. Listen, when you come home, you're going to go to the metro, you're going to go to the MTA, and you're not going to see it the same way as it happened. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be the same way.
Right.
So now that you're doing that, you're carrying out your plans now, what are your plans? Well,
I'm involved with a program called Day 2, dealing with Shabak and a few of us, a lot of us that was in the penitentiary. And, we trying to basically, help the community out, give people that's coming home a little guidelines on what to do, what not to do, how to get information to obtain things they need. We're just trying to put it together, trying to help people out.
So, in other words, you actually, whatever the programs that they didn't give you, to prepare you to come out here, you're actually getting involved, and you're rolling up your sleeves, and you're actually trying to offer that assistance.
It's a fact.
That's commendable.
I mean, it's real stuff. And that's what we do. We try to keep it real with people.
That's actually, it's even more commendable because the fact that you actually have the experience of being incarcerated. So you went through it yourself. You got denied the programs. You came out here. You faced the culture shocks. You faced different things. And then a lot of people would just keep it moving and forget about where they came from. But you took a whole different path, and you said, you know what, I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and I'm gonna help out those that came after me.
I'm gonna be honest with you too. They have a few programs out here that can help people, but people just have to know where to go. A lot of people don't know where to go to get that help that they need. I'm talking about programs that help you, get your birth certificate, your IDs and stuff like that. They out here. You just got to know where to go. So that's what that center's about too. The Day 2 Center to show you at least where to go. To get things
guides
you need. Right, guides you.
But even that is hard because, for example, if I did 28 years and then I hit the streets, most of the people that I know is gone. Right? They either incarcerated or they're only people that I just met because I was incarcerated with them. So if I'm having trouble finding out, let's say I need to get a new license in the DMV, do I feel comfortable asking somebody at the DMV that I don't know from a hole in the wall? Or would it be better if I went to somebody who actually went through my experiences and they can help me and they can say, you know what, I know what you're gonna face when you're there. I know some of the stresses that you might have from talking to these people and trying to find out this information. So here, I'm gonna give it to you the way they should have gave it to you before you came out. So that actually, just that in itself is an assistance. So now, besides the Day 2 thing, is that all you're doing right now, or you're doing other things?
Well, right now, I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm still trying to figure things out too, And, I have a few people like my boy Jamie-O and like I said, Shabaka, China, a few of us, even you, And, we just trying to figure things out, and stay focused, stay on the right path, and I be around my family. That's like my crew,
Because I do know that that you did mention about acting also.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just getting involved, just starting out, and I'm trying to see if I could enter that field, and I'm there though. I'm ready. It's just something new. It's something new for me, but I'm trying to figure it out still.
Okay. So thank you for coming. I appreciate all the answers you gave. Is there any other information you want to give to the people?
Well, all I can say is, like, especially for brothers coming home, you got to keep your head up. You've been away from your family. You got to try to figure out what's going to help you stay out here and stay on that path to be with your family and teach them and be there for them and support them.
As a matter of fact, you said that you're involved with the Day 2 program. Why don't you tell them where they can find you in the Day 2 program?
Oh, well, it's on 2099 Dean Street in Brooklyn, New York, probably Brownsville, section of Brownsville. And like I said, when you come home, you could come through there. You know what I'm saying? We'll try to assist you any way we can.
All right. So with that, I'm going to sign off the way I normally sign off. And I'm going to say, never, ever, ever be silent. Talk back right here on Backtalk with Cripple3030.
Backtalk.
Peace. We would like to thank you for watching Backtalk of Cripple3030. For more information, please go to our website where you can catch our past episodes and our affiliated shows. Thank you.
And now for elements from the Greg Bell calendar.
On February the 18th, there will be two events. First event, Kids Week Bronx, orienteering for kids at Pelham Bay Nature Center in Pelham Bay Park. Now, the Urban Park Rangers will teach you how to navigate to hidden objects placed around the park using a map and compass. And this event will start at 1 p.m. Pelham Bay Nature Center in Pelham Bay Park is located at Bruckner Boulevard and Wilkinson Avenue, Bronx, New York. Now, for more information, you can call 718-319-7258. Once again, it's 718-319-7258. On February the 18th, there will be two events. First event, Kids Week Bronx, orienteering for kids at Pelham Bay Nature Center in Pelham Bay Park. Now, the Urban Park Rangers will teach you how to navigate to hidden objects placed around the park using a map and compass. And this event will start at 1 p.m. Pelham Bay Nature Center in Pelham Bay Park is located at Bruckner Boulevard and Wilkinson Avenue, Bronx, New York. Now, for more information, you can call 718-319-7258. Once again, it's 718-319-7258.
This concludes this edition of the Speaking Community Calendar. Now, this public service announcement is available to you all year long.
Hey everybody, don't forget the free tax preparation being offered at Mercy's College. Now, Mercy's College Bronx campus, in partnership with IRS, VITA program is offering free tax preparation. The Volunteer Income Tax Assistance program offers free tax help to people who generally make $55,000 or less, persons with disabilities, and limited English-speaking taxpayers who need assistance in preparing their own tax return. Now, they're IRS certified volunteers, and they provide free basic income tax return preparations with electronic filing to qualified individuals. Now, Mercy College is located at 1200 Waters Place, Bronx, New York. For more information, all you got to do is call 718-678-8776. Once again, it's 718-678-8776. Or you can send an email to edispensa@mercy.edu. Once again, you can send an email to edispensa@mercy.edu. Attention everybody, Belmont Library is presenting Career Job Fair on Wednesday, March the 27th, 2019 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Be sure to share this with your friends. You are expected to meet with at least 15 to 20 employers, possible employment opportunities, administrative and clerical, custom service sales representatives, and passenger drivers, CDLs, city and state jobs, law enforcement, civil service, and so much more. All you got to do is bring a copy of your updated resume, dress professionally, and have a pen or pencil and paper available to take notes. Registration would be helpful, but is not required. Now, the Belmont Library is located at 610 East 186th Street, Bronx, New York. For more information, all you got to do is call 718-933-6410. Once again, it's 718-933-6410.